Hey, it's Clay, and this will be a video chart on ticker symbol ACB. We will take a look at the 30-minute time frame. Real quick, what do I mean by 30-minute in case maybe you're new to charts? Instead of each one of these candlesticks here representing 1 day's worth of price action, which is what you would normally see, each one represents 30 minutes. So this here may look like several days worth of time. It's actually today's price action broken down into 30-minute time slices. I like to this time frame, and does a good job of telling the quote-unquote story of the price, and then makes mapping out where levels of support and resistance a bit easier to see. I don't mean to state the obvious, but I will anyways. An absolutely crazy day on this one. To think that at one point during the day, we'll ignore all of that, but just even the fact that the price started off right there and then managed to work its way all the way back up there. Definitely a very nice recovery on the bulls' part. So keep an eye on really kind of just a couple of key levels going forward. And the first level to keep an eye on is going to be that pink line right there, which on my chart denotes the famous 200 period moving average. And keep an eye on that because that is going to be the key level of resistance going forward. And even if you have a very basic understanding of charts, I'm sure you've heard of the 200 period moving average, and you know that when the price is below it, it does tend to act as resistance, and that's exactly what happened this afternoon. So while I'm not saying it's impossible to break through that level or anything like that, I'm just saying it makes sense why the price did, essentially, this big old bounce finally ran out of steam and momentum right up around that area. Current value of that moving average is 894. So going into Tuesday, right around 894, 895, it's going to be that key level from resistance standpoint to watch. Now, what about levels of support? First level of support, and what I would call the ideal level, when we say, Clay, what would make this chart look the best going forward? That would be if the price can hold up above the $8.70 mark, but in the event 870 does not hold up, the next level to keep an eye on is going to be down there at $8.55. $8.55 is pretty important because if the price were to drop below there, I'm not saying the chart is dropping, then going right back to the lows where it was, down around 830. But at that point, if it starts to separate to the downside, then at that point the price, it just starts to, go back to where it was. And like I said, I'm not saying it's going all the way down to there, but the last thing you want to see is for the price to go back to where it was. Whereas if the price did something like this, where it did indeed come down to there, behave like that, and then start to work its way back upwards, in that situation, you'd have a set of lows right there. You'd have these lows down there if you picture those as stair steps. Well, then that would be, some progress in the upwards direction, which is what you want. Now, maybe the price may not even come down and test 870, so I'm not saying any of this is actually going to play out. I'm just trying to explain why, even if there was a pullback, there's still that opportunity to chip away and build a higher base. So keep an eye on these supports, but like I said, more importantly, given that the price is much closer to this area of resistance, very well could be a breakout tomorrow, but we'll see if the price can get up above 895 or not. One of the biggest questions that I get is, hey Clay, how do you find the stocks that you trade? So what I've done is put together a free resource guide where I talk about the tools that I use to locate stocks that I find interesting and think may have potential. So if that sounds like something that could add value to you as a trader, then click on the image that is up on the screen right now and I will email you the guide. The guide itself is very short and to the point, and best part, it's completely free. Thanks for watching the video. Let me know if you have any questions.